Hello, my name's David Seaman, and this is the Three Lions podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Three Lions podcast. My name is Russell Osborne and this is an independent England football supporters podcast. I hope you're keeping well. How's your team doing? They doing all right? I don't think I can really say we're at the business end of the season just yet, but we're getting there. Transfer window is closed. We now know the League Cup finalists, the Champions League and the other two European trophies are into the knockout stages. So the end of the season is over the brow of the hill, shall we say. And we're just starting to head up that hill. And we've still got internationals to come. Of course, next month sees the men's first games under Thomas Tuchel. Looking forward to those. There's talk of friendlies in Nottingham. So still plenty of games to be played. Perhaps I shouldn't be wishing it away. Anyway, that's the men. This episode, we are looking towards the Lionesses as they begin their Nations League campaign. It's in the run-up to the summer's Euros. Coming up, I will be taking a look at the squads Serena announced and those upcoming games. Now, in the past, I've been joined by Rich Laverty. We've spoken, and it's all good, but he is taking more time now to concentrate on his feature writing rather than on the current games and the players. So he's not going to be joining us. So I'm on the lookout for someone to join me on the pod when the Lionesses games come round. If you've got an interest in the Lionesses and, I don't know, maybe being on a podcast, then message me. threelionspodcast@gmail.com or through the socials. You know where you can find me. But I just want to say thanks to Rich for his time previously. He's so insightful. Don't forget, you can find him on his socials and his feature writing. It's all over on Substack. Who knows, we may chat again. He may return. But first, let's take a look at where the women's game is at the moment. With regards to the WSL and such like. I know there are some listeners who are quite clued up on the women's game. I know there are some listeners who maybe just take a casual interest in the game. So I hope that this sort of covers it all for everyone. But there were a couple of England-related transfers in the January transfer window that I mentioned on the previous episode. That was the one where I spoke with Nigel Callaghan, former pro of Watford, Derby and Aston Villa too, and of course our national team where he played at under 21 level and was part of the 84 European winning team. That is still available at your podcast provider of choice. But those transfers, sorry, distracted there. Chloe Kelly moved on loan from Manchester City to Arsenal. Kira Walsh made a permanent move from Barcelona to Chelsea for £440,000. And as far as I can see, those are the only two England-related transfers. So what of the WSL? Well, at the time of recording this, all 12 teams have played 14 matches. Chelsea are currently top, 7 points clear of second-placed Manchester United, with Arsenal in third place on 30 points. All those places are within the Champions League qualifier places, but still a little way to go. Crystal Palace, they currently sit bottom on just 6 points. I mentioned the men's League Cup final. Well, in the women's, Chelsea are through to their respective final, the Subway League Cup final, and they will face Manchester City on the 15th of March. Now, in the Women's Champions League, the group stages, they're over, and the knockouts start mid-March. It's actually worth pointing out that it is still a group stage. Not a large league format that the men's competition has been this year. But Chelsea and Arsenal topped their groups and progressed through to the knockouts, as did Manchester City, although they finished second in their group on goal difference behind Barcelona. Now, we've had a quick overview of that. The WSL, as I mentioned, that will have a break for the internationals. That starts from the 16th of this month to the 2nd of March. So let's talk Lionesses. They were in action late November last year, a 0-0 draw at Wembley against the USA. It's a game I took my daughter to. And then very early December, a 1-0 win over Switzerland at Sheffield United's Bramall Lane. In fairness, neither were particularly memorable. Now they return to action in the Nations League on the 21st of February. The first, they're away to Portugal, and then Wednesday the 26th, they're at home to Spain at Wembley. Now, our record against Portugal, this will be the 11th meeting between the two sides. England have won 7 and 3 have ended in a draw. The last time the two met was in the summer of 2023. It was at Milton Keynes in a friendly. The game ended 0-0. And the upcoming game on the 21st is being played down in the Algarve. Hopefully some nice weather there if you go in the Estadio Municipal de Portimao. Hope I pronounced that right. It's a 5,000 capacity stadium and it's home to second tier side Portimonense. And then on to Spain. Our record against them is a little different with regards to meetings. This will be the 18th occasion that the two have met. In the past, England have won 8, 6 have been drawn, and Spain have won on 3 occasions. And one of those was the last time the two sides met, was of course the World Cup final of 2023 in Sydney, Australia. That was a match that Spain won 1-0 thanks to an Olga Carmona goal. But it's fair to say that game has probably been overshadowed by the behaviour of the president of the Spanish Football Association, or the then president of the Spanish Football Association, Luis Rubiales, and his kiss to Jenny Hermoso, which is still going through the courts to this day. And then, of course, there was the game between the two on the way to the Lionesses winning the Euros in 2022. But this will be the first game between the two to be played at Wembley. It's not a game I'm going to, unfortunately. However, I am going to the under-23s. I'm going to take my daughter to that game. It's been played up the road from me at Stevenage. So the England under-23s are playing France under-23s. As I say, that's being played at Stevenage, and that's taking place on the 25th of February, the Tuesday. But back to the main squad. Serena Weigmann announced it on Tuesday, the 11th of February. Let's run through it quickly. It is a 24-player squad. 3 goalkeepers, Mary Earps, Hannah Hampton and Anna Morehouse. Defenders, Millie Bright, Lucy Bronze, Jess Carter, Niamh Charles, Maya Letitia, Esme Morgan, Millie Turner, Leah Williamson and Lotta Wooben-Moy. In midfield, Laura Blindkill-Brown, Grace Clinton, Ruby Mace, Jess Park, Ella Toone and Kira Walsh. And up front, 6 strikers, Aggie Beaver-Jones, Lauren James, Beth Mead, Jess Naz, Nikita Paris and Alessia Russo. It is a squad that's made up from 7 players from Chelsea, 4 from Arsenal and Manchester United, 2 from Leicester City and 1 each from Leicester, Tottenham, Brighton, Paris Saint-Germain, and 3 from America, Orlando Pride, Gotham FC and Washington Spirit. There are 777 caps across the squad with 129 goals. Lucy Bronze is the eldest at 33 years old. She's also the most capped with 127. Now, the only uncapped player is goalkeeper Anna Morehouse. Manchester City's Laura Blindkill-Brown is the youngest at just 21. And Beth Mead has the most goals in the squad with 33. Now, it is a squad that sees the return of Nikita Paris, currently playing at Brighton, been doing quite well down there. She hasn't represented the Lionesses since 2022. That was in a friendly against Norway. Lauren James, she also returns. The Chelsea player had a few injury issues last year and hasn't played for England since the away game against the Republic of Ireland last April. There is no room, though, for Chloe Kelly. Lack of game time she had with Manchester City has contributed to this. Georgia Stanway also misses out because of injury. Likewise, Lauren Hemp and Alex Greenwood. So following the weekend's WSL matches, both Beth Mead and Lottie Wubben-Moy withdrew injured. Both of those from Arsenal. This following their 5-0 win over Spurs at the weekend. They were replaced by Chloe Kelly. So initially she missed out, but now she's been drafted in. She made her second debut for Arsenal, coming on as a sub in that game. Also called up is Aston Villa's Lucy Parker. And those that were on the score sheet for their respective clubs over the weekend included Grace Clinton for Manchester United in their 3-1 win over Palace. Alessia Russo scored in that 5-0 win. Lauren James scored a last-minute winner for Chelsea against Everton. And Nikita Paris, who we mentioned has been called up after an absence for the Lionesses, well, she scored Brighton's only goal in their 3-1 defeat away to West Ham. So that's where we are with the Lionesses. Portugal coming up on Friday and then followed by Spain at Wembley. So how do I think the games will go? Well, if you base it on the FIFA rankings, you may know that Portugal are 22nd and Spain are 2nd. Ourselves, well, we're 4th. I think we will win away in Portugal. I don't think it'll be a big score. The Portuguese recently beat the Czech Republic away from home. They also beat Azerbaijan, although it has to be said they are considerably lower in the rankings. But I can see us getting a result in Portugal. Spain, on the other hand. Now, whilst we were playing the USA and Switzerland last year, they were beating South Korea 5-0 and France 4-2. If we play like we did against either the USA or Switzerland, then I feel Spain could punish us. But hopefully a Wembley crowd will get behind the team, but I think the best outcome will be a draw. But it's worth pointing out that also in our group are Belgium. And when we face Portugal, Spain play them at home. And when we play Spain, Portugal face Belgium away. So if we can come away with 4 points from this first round of games in the Nations League, then I think, obviously we want 6 points, but I think 4 points is it'll be a good start. Thank you very much for joining me. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget you can follow the show on your social media. Just search Three Lions Podcast. You can also contribute to the hosting of the show as well through the Ko-fi account. Just head to ko-fi.com, ko-fi.com/Three Lions Podcast. Any contribution you want to make is really appreciated. And don't forget, if, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, if you've got an interest in the Lionesses, want to come on the podcast and talk about them ahead of Lionesses games, then please do get in touch. 3lionspodcast@gmail.com. gmail.com. If you are going to any of the games, if you're going to Portugal, enjoy it over there. Hope the weather's all right for you. If you are going to Wembley, enjoy it there. And also, as I mentioned, the under-23s, where I'm going to be going, playing at Stevenage. If you're going there, maybe we can say hi. But wherever you're going, enjoy it. And I'll catch up with you very soon. So until then, cheers.